Welcome to our deep dive into one of the most influential personal finance books ever written, Rich Dad, Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki. This book isn't just about money, it's about a complete shift in perspective. Kiyosaki begins by introducing us to his two father figures. His biological father, the poor dad, was a highly educated academic who believed in the traditional path: get good grades, find a secure job, and climb the corporate ladder. His rich dad, the father of his childhood best friend, had very little formal education, but possessed a mastery of financial intelligence. The central conflict of the book arises from these two opposing viewpoints. The poor dad would often say, "I can't afford it," effectively closing his mind to possibilities. The rich dad, however, would ask, "How can I afford it?" This subtle change in language forces the brain to solve problems rather than accept defeat. Kiyosaki illustrates that most people are trapped in what he calls the rat race. They work to pay bills, receive a salary, and then spend that salary on things they think are assets but are actually liabilities. This cycle is driven by two primary emotions: fear and greed. Fear of not having enough money forces people to work, and the greed for a better lifestyle, the desire for toys, bigger houses, and luxury, keeps them tethered to their jobs. To break the cycle, you must stop working for money and start making money work for you. It's a foundational lesson. Wealth isn't about how much you earn, it's about how much you keep and how hard that money works for you.
Many of us grow up with the idea that the harder we work, the more money we make. Kiyosaki argues that this is the primary trap of the middle class. When you work for a paycheck, you are trading your most valuable resource, your time, for money. Once you stop working, the money stops flowing. Kiyosaki's rich dad taught him that true wealth is built by developing an asset column. An asset is anything that puts money into your pocket, such as rental properties, stocks, or a business that doesn't require your physical presence. A liability, conversely, takes money out of your pocket, such as car payments, credit card debt, or even an overpriced primary residence. Most people mistakenly believe their house is their greatest asset. However, if your home is costing you money every month in mortgage payments, maintenance, and taxes, it is a liability. The goal is to focus on acquiring assets that generate passive income. When your passive income exceeds your living expenses, you have achieved financial freedom. At that point, you are no longer a slave to your job. The rich mindset recognizes that money is an idea. If you want more money, you don't necessarily need to work harder, you need to be more creative. You need to leverage your mind to identify opportunities where others see only risks. By shifting your focus from "how much do I get paid" to "what assets can I acquire," you begin to step out of the rat race. This shift requires courage, as it often means moving away from the safety of a monthly paycheck and toward the uncertainty of building your own financial empire.
In school, we are taught to read, write, and perform complex math, but we are rarely taught how money actually works. This is the great lie of modern education, according to Kiyosaki. You can be an incredibly smart person in your profession, a doctor, a lawyer, or an engineer, yet still be financially illiterate. Financial literacy is the ability to read financial statements. You must understand the relationship between income, expenses, assets, and liabilities. If you cannot read a balance sheet, you are essentially flying a plane without an instrument panel. Kiyosaki emphasizes four key areas of financial intelligence: accounting, the ability to read numbers; investing, the science of money making money; understanding markets, the science of supply and demand; the law, the ability to use tax advantages and protections. Most people struggle financially simply because they don't know how to manage the money they already have. They focus on getting a raise rather than managing their cash flow. Financial intelligence is about having options. It's about being able to see a market downturn and recognizing it as an opportunity to buy assets at a discount rather than panicking. It's about knowing how to structure your business to pay for expenses before taxes, rather than earning a salary, paying taxes, and then trying to live on what is left. Investing in your own financial education is the single most important investment you can make. It is an asset that no one can take away from you, and it pays dividends for the rest of your life.
In this section, Kiyosaki introduces the crucial distinction between your profession and your business. Your profession is what you do for 40 hours a week to pay the rent. Your business is the asset column you cultivate in your spare time. The problem with most people is that they work to make other people rich. They make their boss rich, they make the government rich through taxes, and they make the bank rich through interest payments. They never mind their own business. To build wealth, you must keep your day job while simultaneously building your asset portfolio. You don't have to quit your job tomorrow, but you do have to start treating your personal finances like a corporation. Minding your own business means being relentless about growing your asset column. When you have an extra dollar, don't spend it on a new phone or a nicer car. Invest it in stocks, real estate, or a small business. As your asset column grows, it will eventually generate enough income to cover your expenses. That is the moment you have truly minded your own business effectively. Kiyosaki warns that people often get distracted by staying busy at their jobs, using it as an excuse to avoid the harder work of financial planning. Don't let your profession define you. Your financial success is determined by what you do hours. Start small, be consistent, and never let your asset column dwindle.
Why is it that the rich seem to pay so little in taxes, while the middle class pays so much? The secret, as Kiyosaki explains, lies in the legal structure of corporations. The wealthy use corporations to legally protect their wealth and reduce their tax burden. An employee earns money, gets taxed, and then spends what is left. A corporation earns money, spends it on expenses, and then pays taxes on what remains. This is a massive structural advantage. By operating through a business entity, the wealthy can deduct various expenses, travel, equipment, office space, from their gross income, effectively lowering their taxable base. This isn't about being sneaky. It's about understanding the rules of the game. If you want to join the ranks of the wealthy, you must understand how to use the tax code to your advantage, rather than letting it be a trap that keeps you poor. Corporations provide a layer of protection as well. If you own an asset in your own name, you are liable for everything. If a corporation owns it, the risk is contained. You aren't just protecting your money, you are protecting your future. If you are serious about building long-term wealth, you should consult with experts to see how these legal structures can benefit your specific situation. Knowledge of the law is a superpower in the world of finance.
In the real world, it's not always the smartest who get ahead, but the bold. Kiyosaki points out that everyone is born with an immense amount of potential, but self-doubt often cripples us. Many people have the technical skills to be wealthy, but they lack the courage to act. Financial genius requires both technical knowledge and the audacity to take calculated risks. The rich don't wait for the perfect opportunity. They create it. They see a distressed property, a struggling business, or a misunderstood market trend, and they assemble the pieces to make it profitable. They know that money is just a set of numbers. It's an illusion. If you have the right mindset, you can invent money by spotting value where others see a mess. Kiyosaki stresses the importance of 3 key skills for the modern entrepreneur: sales, marketing, and communication. If you cannot sell your ideas to others or communicate the value of your assets, you will struggle to grow. Fear is the enemy of this creativity. Most people stay in the rat race because they fear failure. But the rich know that failure is a necessary part of the learning process. If you never fail, you never learn. If you never learn, you never grow. When you embrace failure as a lesson, you stop fearing it and start using it as fuel. Stop waiting for the government or your boss to give you a raise. Start identifying problems that need solving and build your wealth by providing the solutions. This is perhaps one of the most counterintuitive pieces of advice in the book. Most people look for a job that offers the highest salary. Kiyosaki suggests looking for a job that offers the best education. Early in his career, Kiyosaki worked in sales. He was terrified of rejection and hated it initially, but he stuck with it. Why? Because he knew that sales and communication were the foundation of success in business. He wasn't working for the paycheck. He was working to master a skill that would make him millions later. If you are young, look for work that teaches you how to manage people, how to sell, how to market, and how to lead. Don't worry about being a specialist in one tiny, narrow field. The goal is to be a generalist, someone who understands the big picture.
When you work to learn, you are building an internal asset that no economic recession can take away. You are diversifying your skill set, which is the best hedge against the future. If you work only for money, you become a cog in a machine. If you work to learn, you eventually become the person who builds the machine. Choose the long-term benefit of education over the short-term gratification of a higher hourly wage.
We have covered the theory, but why do so few people actually achieve financial freedom? Kiyosaki identifies 5 main obstacles: fear, cynicism, laziness, bad habits, and arrogance. Fear. The fear of losing money is universal. The rich manage this by diversifying and starting early. Cynicism. Cynics criticize, but winners analyze. Don't listen to the chicken littles who tell you the market is too risky. Laziness. This is often disguised as being busy. If you are too busy to take care of your wealth, you are being lazy. Bad habits. The most common is paying yourself last. The rich pay themselves first, forcing them to become creative with how they cover their other expenses. Arrogance. This is ego plus ignorance. If you don't know something, hire an expert or read a book. Don't pretend you know how to invest. So how do you start? Audit your balance sheet today. Track every dollar. Stop buying liabilities and start building your asset column. Choose your friends wisely. Surround yourself with people who talk about ideas and growth, not people who complain about their jobs. Pay your brokers well because they bring you the best deals. And remember, pay yourself first. Even if you are in debt, set aside a small amount each month to invest. That habit alone will change your trajectory. Rich Dad, Poor Dad is a call to action. It's time to stop letting money control you and start taking control of your financial destiny.
We've covered a lot of ground in this series, from shifting your mindset away from the rat race to understanding the power of assets, financial literacy, and the importance of working to learn rather than just working to earn. But here is the most important truth. All of this information is useless if you don't take action today. Building wealth is not a sprint, it's a marathon. It starts with the very first small step. Whether that's tracking your expenses, reading a new book on finance, or finally choosing to pay yourself first. You are the architect of your own financial future. The systems that keep people trapped in poverty and mediocrity are only as powerful as your willingness to follow them. Break the cycle. Choose to learn, choose to invest in yourself, and choose to build your own empire. If you found value in this deep dive into Rich Dad, Poor Dad, I want to ask you for a small favor. Creating this content is my way of helping you build a life of financial freedom, and your support helps this channel reach even more people who are ready to change their mindset. If you enjoyed this summary and want to see more content like this, please hit that like button. It really helps the algorithm show this video to others who need to hear this message. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and turn on the bell icon so you never miss an upload. We have more deep dives into life-changing books coming your way, and you won't want to miss them. Thank you for watching. Thank you for investing in yourself, and I'll see you in the next video.